Hello everyone, we are live at Catch Your Breath 60. My name is Barbara Moore and I invite everybody to join us today. As a disclosure at the beginning of this tea time, I want to remind you that this is not a private site. It is not a group and anybody can come on here. Anybody can, hi Heather, anybody can comment and anybody can hear your comments. So please, if you have sensitive information that you don't want the public to know, or if you see somebody like your neighbor that you're not interested in, please refrain from making any comments today. My name is Barbara Moore, and hi Carol, I am a survivor of COPD. We live and breathe it every single day. And I invite anybody here who has COPD or any other chronic illnesses to join in the conversation today. And I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Happy new year, happy new decade. And we are embarking on a very, yes, David, Kevin, even you, Kevin, David. We are happy to be back here with Catch Your Breath. We had a couple of weeks off, and so I've been anxiously trying to get information to relay to you today. Hi, Sherilyn. So my post that went up, I think it was Christmas Eve, attracted a lot of attention to my page, and we now have 341 new views for new likes for my page on Catch Your Breath. And that brings us up to about 940 people. So there's a lot of people following us and a lot of information that will be exchanged. Now, Kevin, you excluded most of my audience, or 83% of my audience is females. And I want to remind you that even though we suffer from COPD, we are not exempt from getting other things that are not nice or very, very nasty. And I am urging everybody who is female, and even if you are male, I know you don't have to have this, but to review your mammograms. You know, it came onto our family just before Christmas this year, and we have never had cancer in our family. So I was pretty, low key back, and oh, good, Kevin, I'm glad. Kevin says that he's in touch with his female side, so I'm really happy to hear that, because a mammogram is very, very important. And I was very low key about it because we had never had cancer in our family, but here it is rearing its ugly head. And so because I think Cancer Month is coming up, I'm going to be putting some information on my site about breast cancer. And if you are a woman, you should be having your mammograms at least, I think they're every once a year, every 2 years. And, I kind of haven't had mine since 2012, so not a good thing, right? And so I'll be going for mine on Friday. And as much as we absolutely hate it, everybody who has breasts absolutely hates a mammogram, but the peace of mind that you get walking away knowing that you're clear and everything is worth its weight in gold. So please get your mammogram. And if you are a male, please urge your other half to not stop getting her mammogram because, she thinks that she's too old, right? Good for you, Carol. I'm glad to hear it. So today we want to talk about stress and flare-ups. I heard about it from a lot of people over the Christmas holidays, and a lot of people that were contacting me because I was on holidays and not active really on on Catch Your Breath. But we were a lot of people were stressed over the holidays, and I felt very, very bad for them. Well, Kevin, I haven't actually had the colonoscopy yet. But yes, that is another end that has to be looked at. And one of the easiest detected cancers is polyps in your colon. So another thing that you might want to think of talking to the doctor about, so we get at both ends, right? So I had a lot of people getting a hold of me over the holidays, and were saying about how much stress that they were under, and how horrible it was to go through the season. And I am not by any means not understanding what is happening to you. I understand. So Heather says that after 75, they don't want to do the mammograms anymore. However, her friend was 79 and just diagnosed with breast cancer. What you need to know about breast cancer, and what I didn't understand either, is that the older you are, the slower moving the cancer is. So that's probably why they don't want to do it. And the other part of it is that, hi Barbara, the other part of it is that what you have to go through to get it looked at, right? But my sister is 73, and she has just discovered that she had breast cancer and had a lumpectomy and caught it very, very early. So we are very lucky with her. But we're not sure yet about the test results, and we're not sure if it's going to come back in her lymph nodes and if it's moved or not. So not to get people upset, and I don't want to cause any more stress than what we have, but I think it's an issue worth looking at. So stress and flare-ups over the holidays, and we certainly had a lot of this going on. And I'm always one who kind of feels a little bit of depression over the holidays, right? I don't really feel great over the holidays. I think that I took the fun out of Christmas by stressing over whether I had given enough, whether I showed people that I loved them enough, and whether I was in enough debt, and all of these things. And I did this for many, many years. We certainly do have flare-ups, but we cannot and must learn to manage stress. Stress causes our flare-ups, and very often this is a predetermination to how many flare-ups we have. Chronic illness weakens our immune system, and so when we have more stress, we're more ripe to flare-ups. And the last couple of days, I've been putting on my Facebook page some mindfulness tips, and I'm reading this book that is really, really good, and it goes through a daily mindfulness thought for us, and I'm trying to kind of recycle that onto my page. And I'd like you to think about it. Managing stress and recognizing what causes it is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. And we all know what it's like to get out there and not be able to breathe. There's nothing worse than not being able to breathe. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Alyssa. So we all know what that's like. And we've been in that moment where you can't get any breath in, your lungs are full and you can't get any breath in, and you can't get any air out, and your mind starts to wander about, and we look at all of the bad things that could or would or should happen right now, right? We have to learn to manage the stress, and recognizing that we have stress is one of the best things that we can do, because it aggravates our shortness of breath. We talk about the challenges. When we talk about the stress that we are under, and when we orate it, or when we talk about it, hi Elaine, it really helps to ease some of our mind. I know I have my daughter is a social worker, and so it's very easy for me to have somebody to talk to, even if it's just in a text. And I can say to her, this is what's happening to me today, and I don't understand why it's happening. And she'll give me tips and tricks on how to kind of get through it. And listening to the rhythm of her voice, listening to the things that she's telling me, and taking them all in on the proper level helps me to deal with a lot of my anxiety. Anybody who was around this time last year knows that I suffer from huge anxiety in the winter. And recognizing what causes this stress and why I'm having this anxiety really, really helps to lower or to not aggravate my shortness of breath. When we talk about the challenges, it really, really helps us. And I know that there was a couple of people that I talked to over the Christmas holidays who said to me that they really were having a hard time. Christmas isn't a great time for a lot of people, right? And I know some people go on cruises. Heather, good for you. And some people can take off and they're okay. Other people wouldn't think of being away for Christmas time. And I know that that's a really, really hard thing to do. But if going away would be the thing that would help you to relieve some of your stress, then that would be the thing to do. We just have to muster the courage and overcome the challenges that we have. We have to learn to avoid the situations that cause our stress. And the way that I have found to do this, hi Jeanette, hi Sandra, the way that I have found to do this is by mindful meditation. So I'm not going to go into a great big spiel about mindful meditation. And hi from Portugal, how are you, Anna? I'm not going to go into a big thing about mindful meditation. There is a huge, huge, huge amount of information on the internet. And, we have a lot of time to kind of surf the internet to make ourselves aware of what is out there. And what works for me might not work for you. But when I talk about mindfulness meditation, I am talking about staying in the moment. When you are short of breath, don't let your mind wander to the things that could or would or should happen right now. Sometimes, yes, you're right, Aubin. Sometimes we have to avoid family, and there's nothing wrong with that. Finding the triggers that cause us to be short of breath, whether it's anxiety or whether it's a cue from somebody walking into the room, or for me, sometimes it's even walking into a room and there's a whole bunch of people there and everybody has perfume on. And this happened to us when we went to a wedding earlier last year. And I hadn't even thought about how, what it would be like to be at a wedding with a bunch of people, because everybody wears perfume at a wedding, right? So avoiding these situations and asking for help is really a good thing. And I'm really happy that those people that did get a hold of me over the Christmas holidays that needed to talk to somebody, that they did reach out and that they had the sense to reach out and the open honesty to say, this is really bothering me and I need help to get over it. So I really appreciate that. Some of the things that we can do for ourselves when we are under stress is, once again, learning about mindful meditation, learning to stay in the moment. We know that this moment is going to pass, and we know that it's not going to be here forever. And so just staying there using pursed lips, and I don't have to go through pursed lip breathing with you because everybody has been to rehab and everybody knows pursed lip breathing. And if you don't know pursed lip breathing, drop me a line or go to YouTube and look up pursed lip breathing. It is the best breathing technique that we can possibly understand. And so, Jeanette, you're saying, I wish I could learn proper breathing while simply trying to walk. So here's what I think that you're doing. I think that you're trying to walk too fast, and I think that you're not staying in the moment. You're thinking about the destination that you're getting to instead of being in this moment and looking at this step. We take one step, we take a breath. We take another step, we take another breath. And if that's the way that your walk has to go, then that's the way it has to go. You don't have to worry about what other people are thinking. You don't have to do what other people are doing. You don't have to keep their pace. You have to find your own pace. And you have to find your own peace in your walk, because walking is one of the best things that we can possibly do for ourselves. So if you're having a hard time breathing, it shows me that you are trying to keep up with somebody else or somebody else's pace, and that is not for you. So a step and a breath, and a step and a breath. And eventually, you will be able to ground yourself and paying attention to what you're doing, staying in this moment, you will be able to pace yourself properly. So pursed lip breathing is one of the best things that we can do. Yes, Carol, so important. Do not talk and walk. Remember that walking is exertion. Eating is exertion. Exercise is exertion. Stop talking while you're doing these things, and you will be much, much more successful at getting these things done. And I always have this problem because you might have noticed that I'm a talker. And so when the nurses at the hospital are doing my 6-minute walk my 6 minutes walk, I'm always talking, and they're saying, stop talking. I say, oh, okay, I'm going to, but I just got to tell you this, right? So that's always a detriment to me, and I always have to be talking. The next thing that you might want to look up on YouTube or your favorite website is belly breathing. If you can sit down for 20 minutes a day and do your belly breathing, it means that you put your hand over your diaphragm, and as you're breathing in and out, you can feel it moving. And when you can do that, that means that you're breathing deep enough. You're not doing the shallow breathing that most of us with COPD do. Belly breathing is amazing because if you can do this in conjunction with meditation, you will really, really be relaxed. And sometimes what I do when I can't sleep at night, because none of us can sleep at night. Like, I don't know if you're like me, but I get like 6 hours of sleep maybe, and then I'm up. And once I'm up, I can't go back to sleep again. So sometimes I do belly breathing in bed and try to relax myself enough to stay in the moment and relax enough to go back to sleep. Visualization is a great thing to do. Lorenza, I don't think that a resistance breather is helpful. I really and truly do not believe this. And I know that a lot of people have talked about these resistance breathers, but I also have read some articles that have said that they are detrimental to your lungs and that they're actually not a good thing to do. And I know some people have received them from their doctors or from the hospitals. If your doctor tells you to do it, then do it. But otherwise, I would have a little bit of information. I would have a little bit of research done on resistance breathers because I don't believe that they're helpful. Visualization is something that would really, really help us when we get into a stressful situation where we get short of breath. Visualizing what the situation is going to look like and the successful end it is going to be. So visualizing the success of how this is all going to work out, right? So I think visualization, if we can instead of looking at all the negative things that can happen, if we can visualize the success of this story, we have a much better chance of catching our, of catching our breath and being successful in not being short of breath so often. Mindful meditation is the best thing that you can do for yourself. It takes about 20 minutes, and I do it about twice a day, where I just sit and count my breath. And I know that a lot of people say, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't stay in the moment, I can't count my breath. Yes, you can. Everybody can count their breath. It is normal when you're doing mindful meditation, especially when you first start. It is extremely normal to have your mind wander. Your mind wanders. Oh, I forgot to pay that bill. Oh, I forgot to do the laundry. I should, get somebody to do this for me. When your mind wanders, you bring it back to your breath. And mindful meditation is really just concentrating on your breath. And hi, Dan. Glad to see you today. One of our newbies is Dan. We've got a lot of newbies today. So mindful meditation is an excellent thing to practice. And like I said, you don't have to read a book on this. You can just go on YouTube and find out some stuff on it. Keep going over YouTube videos. And keep going over YouTube videos until you find one that you really, really like. There's tons of free ones. You don't have to spend money on books. You don't have to buy anything. YouTube is free and it's all there. Carol and Sandra run a support group on Facebook called COPD Exercise to Healthy Living. They have an abundance of files on their page that are there for you. They're all free. They're all from YouTube. And they're all there. They're all free. And it's a very, very encouraging support group. So if anybody is interested in a support group on Facebook, try COPD. Oh, see, I just lost it now. COPD, tell me, Carol, what is it? COPD Exercise to Healthy Living. COPD Exercise to Healthy Living. Stay in touch with them because they help you every day and they encourage you every day. And they encourage you to exercise and to have positive thoughts and to keep your nutrition up. And these are the three main things that we have to do when we have COPD. So remember to, when you're in a stressful situation, we have to recognize the cause of the stress because it aggravates our shortness of breath. Once we recognize the cause of the stress, we can take steps to overcome it. Talk about the challenges. Talk to anybody. Give me a call anytime. Text me. Give me a text. Put it on the website. If you're feeling it, believe me that everybody else is too, and everybody else wants to talk about it, but they're just too shy to do it. Avoid situations that cause you stress and ask for help when you need it. The best thing that you can do, yes, Carol says that they are a motivated group that covers lots and lots of topics, and they really do. They have something on there every day, and a very lovely group of people that follow them. So COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living. Learn breathing techniques. Go on YouTube. Find the videos that you really, really like and that have something for you. Learning pursed lip breathing. If anybody's been to rehab, you will know this, right? But sometimes, what I find, and even myself, I've been to rehab a couple of times and all of that, and I'm going back again next year or this year. Sometimes we forget how to do these things that we were taught, right? Like pursed lip breathing and belly breathing. And we are taught to do these things in rehab, but some people don't have access to rehab. So, Heather, I will give you a link. I'll leave a link on my page after I finish my tea time here. It is called COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living. And it's a Facebook group, and you're more than welcome to join it. And I'd love to see you join it because it's a great, they have a great bunch of men and ladies that are there to help us, and they're very, very encouraging. And they also put up new stuff every day. So it's really nice to kind of see new stuff instead of going back to the old stuff, eh? So pursed lip breathing and belly breathing, two of the best things that you can do for yourself. Visualization is an excellent tool. So there it is, Heather. It's right under here. It's called COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living. Visualization is a great tool. If you can learn to train your mind to visualize the success in your story, you will have less sessions of stress. So Carol and Sandra run a COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living, and they do it together. Visualization, mindful meditation. And mindful meditation has been my savior. It has absolutely and totally been my savior. The other thing that we have to look at with COPD is getting a good night's sleep. And as you know, I've talked lots and lots of times about not being able to sleep. I've never, ever, ever been a good sleeper. And I set up steps for myself. So I haven't had caffeine. And I used to be, Heather, you can attest to this, I used to be a coffee fiend. I would have coffee from the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I would have gallons of coffee. I haven't had caffeine or any coffee since September. And the reason why this happened was when I had the flu that time. Do you remember back in September? I just couldn't get a taste for caffeine anymore. So now it's all herbal teas, which I absolutely love. And I have a whole cupboard full of herbal teas, right? So I drink herbal teas and that's it. No caffeine whatsoever. Learning to turn off the TV and your social media at night is a really, really hard thing to do. But this is when you turn this off and you start practicing your mindful meditation. No napping in the day. No napping in the afternoon, no matter how tired you are. And today I am so tired that every time I blink, I think I'm going to sleep. I'm going to fall asleep. Exercise early in the day and sleep in absolute dark, cool room. And I like to have noise with me. So I have white noise like nature sounds, right? So I have like a thunderstorm or something, right? So I have that playing and I leave it playing all night. So those are some of the tips that I have for you. Happy New Year, Marion. You'll be able to watch this on the review, okay? So anybody who has come in late, I'd like you to go back to the review and see it from the very beginning because I had a disclosure there. So those are some of the tips and tricks that I have for you to manage stress. And I would like you to start thinking about now, because it's only January, right? But if Christmas was a stressful time for you, what are some of the tips and tricks? And let us know what you're doing to make next year not so stressful. So I have come up with a decision that what causes me stress at Christmas and takes out some of the fun is the amount of presents and the amount of money that we have to spend on Christmas. Next year will be a no present Christmas for us, and I am definitely sticking to it. The only presents that I'm buying are for my grandson. Good for you. Sandra says, I read upon going to bed for 10 breaths and take 10 deep breaths in and out. You do it upon walking also, and it changes our thoughts. Our breathing can absolutely change our thoughts. You're so right about that, Carol. Good for you, Linda. I have my oxygen concentrator, which is a lot of noise for me at night too. So I get used to that. And then, if it's not on or if it's in another room, we tried it in another room and I couldn't sleep. So, you get used to the noise in your room. I also have a couple of fans going, and that, of course, keeps the white noise, right? So since Christmas Eve, we have 341 new likes on my Facebook page, and this brings us up to about 940. So this is a lot of people, and so let's do some things to help. Let's drop some hints and tips and tricks on my page. Anybody is welcome to dropping any tips and tricks that they use to manage stress. So my stress management is going to be a no present Christmas. And I am definitely going to stick to it because my kids don't need anything, and anything that they do need, they go out and buy, and they've got more money than I do. So this is really going to ease some stress for Christmas, and it's going to make it, I'm really, really looking forward to it now. I want you to know that this is not a private page. Anybody can come onto this page, anybody can comment on this page, and anybody can see what goes on this page. So if you're shy about leaving comments or things that you don't want other people to know about, please be mindful of that. You'll notice that Christine's not here today, and that is because there's a bacterial lung infection that is going around right now that has no medication because it's bacterial, and there's really nothing that they can do for it. Please be vigilant about washing your hands and staying out of public places. And if you have to go into a public place, consider wearing a mask or something over your mouth and your nose so that you're not getting these germs. Because, bad time of the year for us, right, in the winter. And flu is at its peak level right now. And I was reminded about this by one of my friends from Facebook. And I want you to know that the flu season is just starting, right? Because we have actually, in Southern Ontario anyways, we have had a very, very mild winter. So this flu season is going to go on for a little while. Please be vigilant. Take care of yourself because I need each and every one of you here. My name is Barbara Moore. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to have a new blog post out tomorrow. I did go see that movie, How to Be, last night with my husband, and it was exciting and disturbing. So I want everybody to watch my page tomorrow. I will have a blog post out, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to write about the movie and how good it was. Okay. So please be vigilant. I am in Southern Ontario, and it's very, very mild down here this winter. We're having an excellent winter again. So please be vigilant. Watch for my blog post tomorrow. Please let me know what you think about it. And thank you for joining us today. I absolutely and totally enjoy this. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Barbara Moore, and this is Catch Your Breath 60.